big or small. We help people go from being broke and scared to having hope with a plan. And now, here is your host, the owner and lead financial coach at Strong Tower Consulting, Justin Bennett.
And we are live here at the Webcast One studios. This is the Strong Tower Financial Hour, where we do give people who are broke and scared, and we give them hope with a plan. Thank you very much for joining us today and being a part of our show. If you missed our last show, you missed an excellent show where we talked about the total cost of ownership when it comes to owning your car. Too many times when we go buying a car, we think about how much is our payment per month or what's the purchase price. There's a lot more that goes into the total cost of ownership. If you missed that show, you can go always to our shows. We always post YouTube videos on our Facebook page at facebook.com/StrongTowerIowa. So again, if you missed any of our shows or you want to rewatch them, you can always go to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/StrongTowerIowa. Now, we have a great show on today, and on today's show, we're going to have Bob Conroy with Conroy Insurance, LLC. We're going to be talking about the importance of ethics in business, how to find good financial services people, whether they're insurance or in real estate or whoever. How do you find people that you can trust, and how do you stay away from those that don't seem trustworthy? We're also going to have the Adams family on today. No, not the Adams family from the TV show, but Casey and Elise Adams, who have paid off $70,000 in debt in 17 months. I just met these guys just the other day, and they shared their story. I'm like, wow, that's exciting. I want to have you guys on our show, and they're going to be on our show today. Also, we're going to take time later in the show to answer your questions. I get lots of emails, phone calls, or people I meet in person. Well, what do you recommend on this? How do you do budgeting? How do you do X? And you've probably heard in classroom before, if someone has a question, more than likely someone else does to that same question. And so we're going to take some of those questions as a part of the show today and go that direction. Before we go any further, I want to give a special shout out. Today's a special day in our family. And with our family, we have 5 beautiful children. And the one with the Hello Kitty shirt, Joelle, she turns 5 today. We love you, Joelle. Happy birthday. And here's your 15 minutes of fame on the webcast show. And we love you dearly. Can't wait to see you tonight and throw a birthday party for our birthday girl, Joelle. And thank you very much. Wow, balloons. Got to love those tricks. Well, also on a part of today's show, I want to take time out and thank our sponsors. And not just thank our sponsors, but tell you why they are important to me to have on this show, because they're important for you. Before I go to my advertisers, I also want to first say thank you to Mac McCoy here at Webcast One Studios. Without him, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing this show. I wouldn't have this equipment to use. And so thanks to Mac McCoy and the Webcast One Studio for me to be here. Also for Ryan Northfield, our producer. He's the guy that makes the balloons go up and the pictures change and answer the phone calls and does the transitions. And he does all the behind-the-scenes stuff. Without him, this show wouldn't be possible. So thanks to Ryan Northfield, our producer. But I also want to take time to tell you, thanks to our advertisers, and why do I put them on this show so you can know about them. There are 3 criteria I have for someone to be an advertiser or someone that I ever refer business to, and it's the 3 F's. The first F is faith. We share the same faith persuasion. No, we're not going to pummel you with our faith, but we all share the same faith persuasion. And when you have that kind of character similarities, you don't have to ask a lot of what-if questions. Well, what if they're going to do this wrong? Or what if they're going to do... You don't worry about that when you have the same character setting. And so the first F is faith. The second F is finances. We all agree on how we handle finances, whether it's how to budget, how to get out of debt, how to invest, how to buy and sell real estate. Doesn't matter. We all agree on how to do finances the same. I don't want to send you to a real estate guy or an insurance couple. They do it one way and I do it another. There would be no reason why I would want to do it where they just connect that way. The other F, and actually there's 2 F's, so the finance guy can't do math, is family and friends. If I cannot refer these people, my friends and family, to my advertisers, I wouldn't have them on here. You know, some shows when they have advertisers, it's, hey, can you help pay the bills? Great. We'll slap your name on there, and there we go. These advertisers, they actually are folks that I send my friends and family to, who I have used. These are the guys that I recommend. And so I want to give you a little bit more detail on these folks, starting with Steve Bensema with RE/MAX Real Estate. When I first met Steve Bensema and he gave me his elevator pitch, now for those of us in business like me, I meet lots of people every day, meeting new people in different lines of work, and we do what's called the elevator pitch, where it's 30 to 60 seconds of who I am, what do I do, and here I am. Usually, most people in the financial services world or any industry, it's this. Hi, my name is John Smith. I'm with XYZ Real Estate, and here's why you want to use me. You want to use me because I'm great at selling. I'm a great customer service. I'm honest with integrity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, by the way, again, my name is John Smith with XYZ Real Estate. That is 90% of what we'll hear. That's not what I heard with Steve Bensema. With Steve Bensema, here's what I heard. Steve goes, I'm not a salesperson. I am a house consulting, a real estate consultant, where I help find what you want to find. And when he said consultant, not a salesman, that got my attention because he and I both know he's in sales. But then he wrote it down further and said this. These 3 bullet points that really got my attention. Number 1 is I want to find a home that you can afford for 2 different reasons. One is if most realtors, if you're looking for a $150,000 house, they're going to bump you to see if you can't buy a $180,000 or $190,000 house. Not Steve. You say $150, he's going to honor that $150. And in fact, if you look, maybe what if we can find the same type of house in the $130s or $140s? That means you pay less. I don't know any realtor that does that. Do you? The next thing he does that I really like in that same regard is making sure you can afford it, so you're not house poor. Nothing's worse, and I've been there, where you buy a house, 2 weeks later you go, how am I going to furnish it? How am I going to do all the things to keep it up? He wants to make sure if you have a family that you can have pizza and movie night every weekend and not wonder how am I going to pay the utilities or the mortgage. Likely the same is true. They also don't want you 3 years later going back to Steve and going, Steve, I can't afford this house. I need to do a short sale. So Steve's not just looking just at this transaction. He's looking at your future. That's why he calls himself a consultant when it comes to being a real estate agent. But here's what's really awesome. If you are selling a home with him and you bring the buyer, he looks at reducing your commission. His thing is this. You did the work. Why should I get paid for the extra that you did? So he will look at how to reduce and I don't know the commission splits, but he'll reduce it a little bit for saying thank you for bringing the buyer. And if you buy a home with Steve, he's a love it or leave it guarantee. Where from the first 6 months that you own the house, you don't like it, he'll put it on the market and he'll take care of the commissions on his side of the transaction. I don't know any realtors that do that, guys. He's a stand-up guy, and he was a finalist to be the top 30 under 30 for the top realtors in the country, so he's in the top 50 realtors of the country. So you want to use Steve Bensema with RE/MAX Real Estate. Also, another one of our advertisers is Adam Olbricht with AO Wealth Advisory. When I first met him, I was floored how easy it was to talk to him and how he makes talking about investments just so basic and simple. A lot of people in the financial planning world, they show great charts and stats and things, and you go, okay, I'm just going to sign here, and what I just do? He doesn't do that. He teaches you what you're going to get into. The other reason why I like Adam Olbricht is simple. When it comes to Adam, not only does he practice what he preaches, but he and I are on the same level. Most financial planners agree like I do. You need to have a pile of money in savings. You should be debt-free. You should be investing for the future. But it's how to invest where a lot of financial planners and I don't always agree. They may say one thing and I would say another. Adam and I agree on the same page. And again, he walks you through and teaches you these concepts so you're not as scared. You're comfortable investing for the future because as you know, when you're investing, you're taking a risk. But you're taking that risk. Why? To get a better return on your investment so you can do things like save for retirement and save for college. So again, Adam Olbricht, AO Wealth Advisory, awesome. And the good news is you don't have to have a pile of money. You have a little bit of money or a lot. He will work with you. He likes taking time, educating, teaching, mentoring everyone about how to invest properly. And our last advertiser is Bob and Debbie Conroy with Conroy Insurance, LLC. These guys are just rock stars in the insurance business. I got a mutual friend of ours, and he said, you need to go meet Mark, Mark was the guy actually. You need to meet Bob and Debbie. These guys are really good and would be good to your business because they believe, again, same faith, same financial background. And so we got talking, and I was impressed because, number one, together, they have a combined 60 years experience in the insurance world, whether it's in selling or underwriting or in management or even in IT and all the basics of the insurance world, they have played some role in at some time. They stay very abreast to what's very new in the insurance world. They know the history of insurance inside and out, and they're very, very honest. Now, all of them are honest, but here's what's interesting about this. When I send my clients to them to get a free quote, Debbie will make for you a very simple 1 to 2 page summary of what you have and what you should have. And the good news is they're not like a new starving agent trying to do everything they can to get business. If they think who you're with currently is the better person to be, we'll say in their document, you should stay with them. We recommend raising limits because most insurance agents don't give you enough coverage for what you need. So they're going to recommend raising your coverage, but also they are there to do business. You will find that they're easy to work with. They walk you through step by step because insurance is just one of those, oh my goodness, it's painful to hear about, but they don't make it painful. And a lot of my clients, when they first go to see them, they're a little nervous. I'm going to see that insurance person. But man, after they meet with Bob or Debbie for the first time, they almost don't want to quit talking to them. They didn't realize talking about insurance could be that easy and that enlightening and knowing why the importance of insurance. What's good insurance? What's bad insurance? And so that's why I recommend Bob Conroy and Debbie Conroy with Conroy Insurance LLC. And you know what? They're just great people. And if you need grandparents to adopt, these guys are great people to adopt because they're a lot of fun. We share office space. I rent from them, and they are just fun to be with, and they're real people that do great work. So again, my 3 advertisers, Steve Bensimo with RE/MAX Real Estate, Adam Obrick with AO Wealth Advisory, and Bob Conroy and Debbie Conroy with Conroy Insurance LLC for your property casualty insurance and also for your business insurance. All of these guys do excellent, excellent work. Well, hey, when we get back here on the Strong Tower Financial Hour, we're going to have Bob Conroy in here, and we're going to talk about the ethics of business and how to look for good insurance agents, how to look for good other financial people that you should have in your life. What's honest, what's not honest. We're also going to have the Adams family, Casey and Elise, to talk about how they paid off $70,000 in debt in 17 months. Wow, how did they do that? We're also going to answer some of your questions on how to get financially fit and go from being broke and scared and having hope with a plan when we come back.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Hi, my name is Steve Bensimo with RE/MAX, where a house becomes a home. And when your host, Justin, wanted to sell his home, he gave me a call. I want to share a little bit about my buying philosophy when I work with home buyers. I always want to make sure that people are taking into consideration what home they can afford, not what home they think they can afford. So I ask a question around if they've really looked at what their budget looks like for buying a home. And there's for 2 reasons. One, I do not want my clients calling me in 2 to 3 years to do a short sale. I want people to be able to order pizza on Friday night and not be worried about the mortgage on Monday. So if you're looking for a home to buy, and you want someone on your side to make sure you're buying the right home for you right now, give me a call at 515-257-6531. Again, that's 515-257-6531. Or check me out on Facebook. Again, I'm Steve Bensimo with RE/MAX, where a house becomes a home, and I'm looking forward to working with you. Thanks.
At Conroy Insurance Services, LLC, we help families and business owners protect their most valuable assets. We have established an excellent reputation with our clients, and we will continue to strive to exceed your expectations. Our talented team of insurance professionals are always available to assist you, and that is why we are independent, trusted, and preferred. Hi, I'm Bob Conroy. Contact me for all of your personal and business insurance needs at conroyllc.com.
Drink, dance, party. Kitty's is the ultimate dance club in Des Moines. A huge dance floor with room to move, 3 bars to keep your drinks full, and kickin' DJs playing all your favorite dance music. At Kitty's, we've always got your birthday party planned with Birthday Fridays. That's right, when your birthday rolls around, there's only one place to go. Gather up your friends and head to Kitty's, where you drink free on the Friday of your birthday week. Find out more about Birthday Fridays at kittiesusa.com. Kitty's, all kinds of people, all kinds of music, all kinds of fun.
Drug and alcohol addiction slowly steals a person's identity, tearing away pieces of their life little by little until one day it seems like the hope of a happy future is gone and there's no chance of getting it back. Here at St. Gregory Retreat Centers, we can assure you that there is hope. Our unique approach to recovery begins with the understanding that the dysfunction and damage caused by addiction can be overcome, not just dealt with. Don't let another day go by. Call St. Gregory today.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
And we are back here at the Strong Tower Financial Hour. Thank you very much for joining us. If you missed our last segment, we were talking about our advertisers. Again, Steve Bensema, the Conroys, Bob and Debbie Conroy, and also Adam Obrecht. We really recommend these folks, whether it's for real estate, insurance, or for investments, and they meet the 3F criteria that I have: faith, finances, and then referrals, friends, and family. Well, that's actually 4 Fs. Again, the financial guy can't add. There's 4 Fs, not 3. But bottom line is we all share the same, and so you can know if I send these folks to you or you want to go look for these guys, they will treat you right. Later on the show today, we're going to have the Adams family, Casey and Elise, and we're going to find out how they paid. I found out I was wrong, not $70,000, but $76,000 off in debt in 17 months. That's a lot of money, fast, that they paid off. So they're going to be on here in our next segment later talking about how they did that and how that's improved their life. Later today, we're also going to take some of your questions that you've either emailed me or called or we've met somewhere in person. And I'm going to start taking questions because if one of you emailed me a question, more than likely others of you have a question as well, that same one. So we'll talk about that. But right now we have Bob Conroy with Conroy Insurance, LLC in our studio. Welcome back, Bob.
Hey, it's great to be back, Justin. How are you today?
Good. I haven't scared you away from the studio. That's great.
No, you've tried, but I keep coming back.
Well, Bob, we're here today to talk about how important ethics are and honesty and integrity when it comes to doing business in the financial services world. Tell us a little bit of why is that so important? Because you would think with all the ethics classes that a lot of the financial services professionals have to take, ethics is not something that's always followed.
Well, and I believe we have to take them because there are some people that are unethical, and so it's just a matter of getting in front of the curve, I guess. We could talk for like 10 hours probably just discussing what is ethical. And so when you mentioned this as a topic, I went out and did a little research and really got down to the golden rule, treating other people as you want to be treated. And there's this other rule that comes out called the platinum rule, where it's treating people as they want to be treated. So that's kind of the next step in the whole thing, but somewhere around there. So if you take those things on, but then if you're doing that, you want reciprocity. You want the other person to do the same thing, whether it's somebody you're buying services or items from, or they're buying from you. It works both ways.
Very good. So if I'm out there looking for insurance, obviously I'm going to go to Conroy Insurance LLC, or if I'm looking for a realtor or a banker, what are some things I can look for, whether it's in body language or words, that I can start to begin to build trust with? Because you don't build with trust overnight. Trust takes time to earn. So what are some golden rules or general rules that typically work when you're meeting with someone that you can go, this is someone I can trust, or this is just someone with a slick sales pitch and I need to leave? What are some signs?
Well, I think the ethic thing is ethics. I don't think there's a lot of people that really are unethical. They're the rare, but may get more into competency. So you may have somebody that's not as competent in what they do, and so that has the same effects of an unethical person. So you want to look for competency. So look for people that have experience in the field. That would probably be a number one thing. And within each field, especially professional fields, there's designations. So look for their designations, their continuing education, and showing that they have a commitment to being professional, because that's part of that professional creed would be to be ethical. So look for experience. The other thing would be common sense. You said something about body language and all that. Well, that's a tough one, but we all have a little bit of that built into us. So look for the common sense type things of somebody offering a deal that's too good to be true, a deal that you have to act now, or won't be available tomorrow or next week, and make that decision. So just if your spidey sense kind of goes off, that's a sign to kind of back off. And that may not be an unethical thing. It may just be, like you said, like a slick sales deal. But back away a little bit and just think about it. That's one of the things we teach and you teach in financial planning, is to think about some of those bigger decisions. Anything that's financial is a big decision because it could have a long-term impact on your family.
Absolutely. So what are some instances that you have seen, good or bad, with ethics or competency, I think you said, which is a great point. Mm-hmm. What are some stories either from past clients or past experiences, good or bad, that you've seen out there?
Well, yeah, past clients, I don't know that I'd go into that, but I mean, just the stuff that hits the news, the Enron scandal, for example, which changed a lot of federal and state laws, where they're cooking the books and making things look better than they were. And it was all for them, those are the kinds of things that just so you get a company that's got incredible rates of return, not a real way of tracking it through. The financials weren't real clear. Those are things to look at. So I'd say if you're looking at rate of returns that are way above market, be careful. Insurance, get a quote and say 15%. Well, there's 15% is a huge margin for any business. There's got to be a reason for that, and sometimes it comes out in terms of service and often in terms of coverage. There's one company that does the pricing gun. Well, you can set your price, but you have to give, something has to give. It just doesn't. There's no free lunch and all that stuff. So look for something that's just too good to be true, and trust your senses on that.
I think two things that you said or that I caught out of that was, one is what's in it for them. Mm-hmm. I'll never forget, I was with a good friend of mine who's a successful business owner, and we were together to hear a presentation. Mm-hmm. And the first question was, how do you make money? How does this impact you? Mm-hmm. Thinking that's a great question, because as you said, that 15% they save, there's a reason why they're doing it. They're not just giving it away for free. There is a agenda, not saying it's bad, but they have an agenda for why they're doing that. And the other thing is, it's not all about them. Do they have a serving heart? Are they wanting to serve others, not just, well, make sure you come to me so I can get my paycheck and move on to the next? Right. So those two things I heard there. Mm-hmm. But why is it important? I mean, this is a duh, but why is it important that the consumer be honest and upfront, whether it's dealing in insurance or with any financial professional? Why is honesty upfront so critically important to the business relationship? Oh,
well, yeah, it goes both ways, because I'll go into insurance. That's the one I understand the best. When we act as an agent, we have an obligation as agents with our carriers to the information that we have is given to them. And so we need full information, and so we would require full disclosure. The other thing is, for us to do the right job for that person, we need to know everything that's pertinent to that. Anything material needs to be disclosed so that we can recommend the right product to the right carrier, and so it cuts both ways.
Very good. So Bob and Debbie Conroy with Conroy Insurance LLC has been doing it for a while. But you've been in insurance together, both of you in the industry, over 60 years, I think, combined?
Well, yeah, and I'll claim more of those years than Debbie, just to be nice.
And so you guys own Conroy Insurance LLC. What was so exciting about opening your own firm?
Well, one, to work for ourselves. I mean, that's the American dream. We don't answer to a corporate structure. And so we can run the business the way we want to. And we did it on the principles that you teach. Everything, our business was started without debt. We bought the building that we're in. Everything in there is paid for. It's just so that the pressure on us is not financial. It's the servant thing, as you talked about. We really enjoy the people that we work with and for. And we're having a great time. It's the American dream.
Awesome. Well, and when you do things right by paying cash for things, overhead is low, the stress is low. So it's not, I got to find a way to get this person in as a client. It's what's, again, best for the client. And I love this platinum rule. Never heard of that. Not is how do you want to be treated, but how do they want to be treated. So I learned things on this show. So that was good. Yeah. Walk people through, because I think it's good to remind them. So if they want to get house insurance, renter's insurance, auto insurance, or even business insurance, what's the process they go through with working with Bob and Debbie from start to finish?
Well, the best process is to call Debbie. She's very good at what she does. And phone call and email. Go to our website, conroyllc.com. We have some secured forms on there. Most of the agencies in the state, their websites aren't secured. We have secured forms. You want to send us information that way. You could take your present policy and just scan it and send it in, the deck sheets and so on, or give us a call. We'll find a way to get it done. What we'd ask is that you do it ahead of a renewal so that we've got time to do it and can do it right, take time to look into things. If you live in a homeowners association, which a lot of houses are, even single-family homes now have associations, we need to see the bylaws so we make sure we've got things covered there. We'll do a real thorough job, and it takes time to get that done up front.
So it's like the old carpenter saying, measure twice, cut once.
Yeah, exactly.
And that way you do it right. So someone does those things, and you've reviewed, and then obviously you're going to give them a quote.
Yeah, we'll look at several. We represent national carriers, and we'll get quotes with all the carriers that we think this person should be quoted with, and we'll make presentations and make recommendations between those. But you'll definitely get options of seeing more than one company's quote.
And I think that's a great point, and I'm going to ask why did you guys find it important to have multiple carriers versus just one or two?
Well, because every carrier has a different appetite for what they want to write, different risk things, and we've talked before about multivariate rating and some of the things, insurance and credit and so on. They all have little different proprietary ways of doing it. So you could have identical twins married to identical twins working at the same company, and they still come out with different rates. And maybe one company doesn't really want to insure them and the other one does. It's so hard to understand. But so by having those multiple companies, we're able to find a market for everybody, the right market.
Now, in the next segment, we're going to have the Adams family on, which I just love saying the Adams family. It's fun to say that. But you were an FPU facilitator for them and Financial Peace University. How many classes have you and Deb facilitated over the years?
It's funny. Deb and I, we haven't kept track of it, but somewhere between 8 and 10.
Wow.
And so let's average it out to 9. But we figure we've seen about 1,000 families go through the classes over that period of time, plus the people that we've coached on the side too.
Wow, and that's got to be a rewarding feeling to be able to share that information with them.
Yeah, it really is.
Good. Well, in our next segment, folks, Bob Conroy is going to stick around, and we're going to also have the Adams family, Casey and Elise, and they went to one of the Financial Peace University classes that Bob and Debbie facilitated, and again, in 17 months, paid off $76,000. How did they do that? What made them decide to do that? And then what decisions did they make to get there, and where are they now? Those are some of the questions I'm going to be asking when we come back. Also taking some of your questions that you've emailed me and giving you answers to those. When we come back on the Strong Tower Financial Hour, where we do help people go from being broke and scared and give them hope with a plan.
Leach, owner and general manager of Service Legends. I brought along a couple of the home comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wondershad.
I am administrative mmanager.
I'm the senior technician
from Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it. I don't think that you can fake it and have it turn out good.
You know, if we seem like, okay, that's just weird, it's just a furnace, why would you believe so deeply in a furnace? It's not just that, you know, we want to show the world that you can have good service.
Yeah, I mean, it's your home.
You know, it's built into our daily trainings, it's built into our culture. That we're going to do whatever it takes to have each client say they love us, period.
That's why we spend all the hours in the training that we do. And if we guarantee it's going to be a good experience for you, or else it's free, what type of work do you think we're going to do?
There is a guarantee.
Temperature selection guarantee, fixed rider it's free guarantee, comfort guarantee, best value guarantee. All of these guarantees hold us accountable to ensuring that we exceed your expectations. And if for whatever reason we'd fail and we can't make it right, We guarantee all of those guarantees with a 100% money-back guarantee.
I mean, if you don't think that your technician can fix it right, are you going to say that to a client? No.
You don't have to worry about having a technician come to your house.
We drug test, background check all of our team members. We put safe people in your home. Each and every one of our service techs, 400 hours a year in training.
You tell it the minute they walk in the door. They know what they're doing, they've done their homework, and they actually truly care about what you want.
Because at the end of the day, you're the person that makes sure I have a job.
They're going to be listening. They're going to want to know what your challenges are. Then they're going to come and give you options, and you get to choose.
If I'm there to help and I make it easy and painless, I did my job right that day.
Well, when it comes to your comfort, safety, and your family, you don't necessarily go buy the most expensive, but you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, it's worth it because there's a lot of people that will find a way to get it to work right now and then leave and then come back, charge you again, and the cycle just repeats itself. So when I'm out there looking at the furnace, I want to find why it failed today. How can we change the part today with something that you're not going to have to worry about? Is it worth changing the part today? I mean, you can put a lot of money into a furnace. I can fix parts all day. There's good job security in that for me. But is it the right thing for you?
I get a lot of the phone calls of after the technicians are there. They're just in awe. They're like, wow, you guys are great. I mean, I don't even know what to say. You guys are great. Everything you did was perfect. It was great.
Keep going though. I like this.
Just give us a try. I'm going to take all the risk.
I've got the time to make this right. I've got the support to make it right.
Just check us out.
And if you don't see the value in what we do,
I mean, fixed right or it's free or 100% money back.
enough said.
I'm not about to give up because I heard you say there's gonna be brighter
And we are back here at the
days.
Strong Tower Financial Hour. Thank you for joining us. If you missed our past segments, again, we talked about our advertisers and why we have them as advertisers. And we also talked to Bob Conroy about how to look for ethics and competency when it comes to working with folks in the financial services. This is going to be a fun segment because Bob has stuck around. He's done, him and his wife Debbie have done 8 to 10, or we're going to say 9 Financial Peace University classes. And so we're going to have one of their students in the class, the Adams family. We have too much fun on this show, I think. But anyway, the power of phones these days. But with the Adams family, Casey and Elise, and talk to them about how they have changed their life financially and emotionally, and they're in a whole other place 17 months later. So I think it's going to be fun having both the facilitator and the students in the class. So let me first welcome Casey and Elise. How are you guys today?
We're better than we deserve. How are you doing?
Awesome. The same. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, we've been married, just celebrated our 5th wedding anniversary last weekend. Recently graduated from college. I graduated, well, I guess not too recently, 2.5 years ago now. And graduated, got a great job. It was like, yes, let's go buy all this stuff that we can afford to buy now. Well, seems that you buy a little more than you actually can afford when you go out and use that debt. I went out and I bought a 2008 Acura TL. I was pumped to get rid of my 97 Sentra that was falling apart. That's what I said it was. It was still running strong at 253,000 miles, but I had to make excuses to get something nice. And then I felt bad that she was driving something bad, and she had a 92 Integra, and we went out and bought her a 2007 Lexus.
Whoa, Lexus!
So spent a little bit of money in there. We also bought a house. So we were throwing money around all over the place. And then they came out with the national averages for income. And I looked at that. I'm like, we make more than the average income, but why are we broke? And started looking at everything. We had $1,000 a month in car payments. Mm-hmm. We had a mortgage going out every month. And we were trying to, get ahead and gain traction and trying different things, but things were still getting piled onto credit cards as we tried to pay other things off, and we had no plan. Was the problem.
So, Elise, if I can ask you, as you just gave the picture, Casey, of what's going on, as the debt's piling up, how are you feeling about all this?
Well, I'm kind of the saver in the family.
So I know how you're feeling.
I was very much like, okay, why aren't we getting on top of this? What's going on? We're depleting our savings here, and we're not getting ahead on our finances.
Yep. So at Casey's head of the household, how are you feeling as the debt's piling up and you make more than national average? I mean, what was going through your mind?
It was frustration and trying to figure out, what we needed to do, why everyone else is able to do all this stuff and they're doing well. Find out that everyone's in debt and they just keep piling it on, and eventually it catches up to them. And I knew that was going to happen for us sometime. I said, we've got to do something. And right about that point, I was on a trip to Chicago for work, and the company rep that took me out there actually had just taken Financial Peace University. And we started talking about finances or whatever, and he said, "Oh, have you heard of Dave Ramsey?" And I said, "Yeah, I've heard of him. I haven't really listened to him or anything." And we talked about Financial Peace all the way out to Chicago, and all the way back from Chicago, we listened to podcasts from Dave.
Wow.
And we got back, and I was pumped. I was ready to go. I came home, and I said, "Elise, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this." And she's like, "Whoa, wait, what? Why are we doing this?"
What are you, what?
Exactly. So I realized I had to step back and explain to her why we were doing this, which I know is a common mistake. I mean, people come home and they're pumped, they're ready to go, and you have to explain to your spouse why we're going to do this and what the results are going to be.
So after he kind of came back to earth, were you excited that this idea of going to the class still, or were you going, what happened to my husband and where is he?
I kind of wondered what happened to him, but at the same time I was like, well, we had done budgets in college when we were married, and we'd done well with them. We didn't have quite as many things to budget, so I was like, yeah, I think we can do this. I'm kind of on board for this. Let's go see what this is all about.
Okay. So you guys take the class, or you're going through the class, Financial Peace University. As you were going through the class, walk us through how you were feeling, what you were learning, and when did things start to click for you?
It was exciting, but it was also kind of nerve-wracking. I mean, we were sitting on a big pile of debt. We were looking at almost $100,000 in Baby Step 2 debt.
Wow.
And fortunately, we already had our Baby Step 1 taken care of, our $1,000 in our emergency fund. We had that all the way through college. But at this point, we're like, okay, we're done using the credit cards. That $1,000, that's our emergency fund. We're not using these credit cards anymore.
So you cut them up, right?
We cut them up.
Yep.
We cut up every single one of them with Bob and Debbie. They've got them in there.
Yeah, it's in our little box.
So I think we cut up 9 credit cards.
Good for you guys. Good for you.
And it was just incredible how fast that happens. You get going, you cut up that first one, you're like, let's go. And it was on.
Very cool. So you completed the course. And again, since going through the class in 17 months, you've paid off $76,000 in debt. I mean, Casey, you said you looked at the national average income. We're higher. Why are we broke? And you take the class. What did you guys do from the class? What did you learn that you applied to get you to pay off $76,000 in 17 months?
Well, it was telling our money what to do was the main objective.
I think diligence within the budget and within keeping on the budget was a big thing for us too.
Right. Yeah, the groceries is probably one of the harder ones for us, actually, just trying to keep that grocery budget down, clipping coupons, looking at what's on sale. When there is a good sale on meat or whatever, we go buy it in bulk and we put it in the deep freeze. Doing those kind of things. Recently, we cut our DirecTV. Our contract was up, so we finally cut that. And that's also inspired us to get out and do more exercising. And we've both been losing weight on top of this.
Cool.
So
very cool. Awesome. Well, what about the envelopes? That's one of the big things that people like. How's the envelope system working for you guys?
Awesome. We strongly recommend it. That's probably the easiest way to do this budget, because when the money's out of the out in that envelope, you don't have any money left. You have to figure something out, or if there is something you need, you've got to figure out where that's going to come from. We ran out of grocery money 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks into one of our months, and we said, we got to eat, so we got to pull money from somewhere. So we ended up pulling it from our small restaurant fund and bought very cheap food and beans and rice for the last couple of weeks of that month.
But let me ask you guys a question. Before Financial Peace University, if you would have been out of food and no money, what would you have done?
Well, we used credit cards before anyway, and so stocking up on food wasn't an issue. But we were spending at least double what we're spending now just in food.
And that's just from the grocery store.
Yeah.
That's not even mentioning the restaurants, which was over 10 times what we're spending now.
So when you first did the budget, because when I work with clients one-on-one individually with coaching, I love seeing their eye-open experience of, oh my goodness. When you first saw the budget and you put everything down on paper for the first time, what thoughts and emotions did you guys go through?
We already kind of knew what we were spending. We were just ignoring it. I'm definitely the nerd. I have spreadsheets for the last 5 years of what we've spent at every store for every month, every purchase. So we were able to compile a budget relatively easily.
Cool.
But it was just ignoring how much we were actually spending.
Now, if I'm on the other end of the show here, I'm going, okay, you pay off $76,000 in 17 months. They said budgeting and couponing. What else? There's got to be something else. So $76,000 is a lot of money to pay off in 17 months.
We started selling.
What did you sell?
Our big sales recently were our cars. We sold my Acura, used the money we had in equity on that, purchased 2 97 Camrys, and we used the rest to pay off her car.
So when you got these 97 cars, which by the way, you got rid of one 97 and a 92 because, oh my gosh, they're breaking down, they're costing money. When you stepped into that 97 car, did you feel like, oh man, what am I doing? Or were you just jacked?
I was jacked. I said I never thought I'd be this happy driving a $1,500 car. It was awesome. And when I looked at everything that I need to do on it, I do all the work myself, so it's a little bit cheaper that way. I said, all the parts I need to put into these cars is less than one payment on the Lexus.
Wow. How about you, Elise? What about when you first went in this $1,500? You're not driving the Lexus anymore. How was that feeling?
I mean, it was freeing, and it brought us back to where I was in college, and it's like we don't have car payments. Our insurance is cheap. Like, the basics on it are cheap to take care of. It's still a car. It's still going to lose money, but we have transportation to work. So.
Very good. Now, you guys don't have kids yet, but one of the common, I'm afraid to sell the car is because I want to get something that's reliable. Would you say your cars are reliable?
Yeah, they're very reliable. I mean, there's some things here and there that need fixed on them, but it's stuff that isn't major. When I test drove them, I made sure that the head gaskets weren't about to burst or anything like that, and that the cars ran, that the wheels weren't falling off.
Yep.
Just got to make sure it's still together. But there's things that, like struts, our struts need to be replaced, but those aren't that terrible. Doing them myself, it's going to cost, I think it was $350 to do both cars.
Very cool. Now, Bob, you're sitting here as one of the facilitators. How awesome is it as you're sitting across, hearing in 17 months how their life has changed? What's going through your mind?
Well, it's why Debbie and I got involved in this was to help with young people and to provide an example and to just help get the classes off the ground so that you have a chance to have a life that's just so different from what our culture is pushing. Getting out of debt. You guys are going to rock the world, and what a great example you are for others too. So I just encourage you to stay the course and pay it forward. Help other people, which is what you're doing right now as an example, being on this show. It's great. What a great feeling. In the classes, I'd say it's the 80-20 rule. About 20% in a typical class kind of get it and make a change. You two are in the top 1% in terms of really executing and getting things done the first time through. But I found out of that other 80%, a lot of people come back a second and third time. So once you go through the financial piece, it's a lifetime membership. And sometimes it might take a second time through, so I'd encourage other people that didn't quite pull off what you two have done to go back, take the class again, and try it again.
Exactly. And I got to make a cheap plug. I do coaching one-on-one, and I've done just as many FPU classes as you guys have. And I had a client I just finished that was in an FPU class 2 years ago. Emailed me then 2 years later and said, Justin, I'm not getting any traction. It made sense. Why am I not getting it? And in coaching just totally rocked her world because we just need a little extra help, and there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, I'm like you, Bob. I've seen lots of folks that second class, that third class, or some one-on-one coaching, or both, really makes a difference. About to wrap up here, what would you tell others? There's a lot of young couples like you where they have maybe no kids or getting ready to have a family or kids. What would you say to them if they're stressed out about money, why they should take the course or meet with someone like me for coaching?
Well, it's just incredibly freeing. It's awesome. And then you play with those calculators of what you can have in retirement, and it will blow your
Be millionaires.
mind.
You guys
many
are
times over.
rocking.
It is incredible.
Well, Casey and Elise, thank you for being on the show today. Awesome job, you guys. Bob, thank you for being on the show. When we get back here at the Strong Tower Financial Hour, we're going to answer your questions on how to do budgets and other things so you can get control of your money when we come back on the Strong Tower Financial Hour.
Yes, now your favorite favorite programs on Webcast One Live can all be watched and listened to on any Android or Apple device, your phone, tablet, or iPad. Yes, your favorite shows on Webcast One Live are available live or on podcast wherever you go. Let me introduce to you some of our great shows.
My name is Justin Bennett with Strong Tower Consulting, where we passionately coach individuals, families, and businesses to make better financial decisions that help create success and eliminate financial stress. I offer a free 30-minute consultation where we find out where your situation is. I explain how I do my coaching services. Then it's up to you whether you want to continue. The Bible has, depending on who you believe, 800 to 2,000 scriptures that talk about money alone. So it's a pretty important subject in God's eyes. That's one of the things that I enjoy doing, is help them see God's ways of handling money. You know, it's interesting. Most people that I ask, what would it be like to be debt-free? The common response is, I don't know. I don't think it's possible. But in 90 days, most of my clients go from, I don't think it's possible, to, I'm excited. In 2 years or less, I will be debt-free. There's no tricks, no gimmicks, nothing being sold here. It's just learning how to do money well. This is Strong Tower Financial Hour, where we help people go from being broke and scared to having hope with a plan.
So when you want to watch your favorite Webcast One program, remember, there's an app for that. You know, there's an app for that.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Adam, introduce yourself to us.
I am Adam Obrecht with AO Wealth Advisory, and I am a financial planner working here in the Metro.
And what is it that you do as a financial planner?
I work with clients' goals, and my main goal is to help clients maximize what they earn, invest it wisely, and be able to figure out a plan to give generously to charity and their families.
And what sets you apart from other financial planners here in the Des Moines area?
You know, I really look forward to working with clients on a daily basis, and it excites me to be able to figure out their plan and what gets them excited about money.
Awesome. Well, that is Adam Obrecht with AO Wealth Advisory, investment advisor, representative of Investment Advisors Corp., and SEC registered advisor. Securities offered through broker-dealer financial services member FINRA and SIPC. Thanks for watching. Back here live at the Strong Tower Financial Hour. Proverbs 23:12 says this: apply yourself to instruction and listen to words of knowledge. Again, Proverbs 23:12. Apply yourself to instruction and listen to words of knowledge. And when we had the Adams family on, again, they paid off $76,000 in 17 months. That's exactly what they did. They got instruction, they listened to knowledge, and then I would add to that, they used wisdom by applying that knowledge. And did you see how freeing it was? I mean, I love what Elise said. She goes, I feel like I was back in college when we were free from all this debt. They tried to buy happiness through cars. They tried to buy happiness with credit cards. You heard Casey talk about how he made above average income, or they did as a family. I'm broke. And that's normal. And they knew that. And by getting some knowledge and some instruction, then applying it, taking it to the next level, look at where they are. Wow. Wouldn't you like to have the peace and the joy? You can by following the principles we teach here at the Strong Tower Financial Hour. Well, we also are going to start taking your questions on these shows that I get either through email or phone or in person or Facebook. I get questions from all different places. And so the first question I'm going to ask today is, what do you do when you do not have time to do a budget? We know doing a budget is important, but we simply do not have enough time. Help. Well, the good news is you're halfway home if you realize the importance of doing the budget. But like the proverb just said, we got to apply what we learned. And what I have learned is an old-fashioned saying back in the days of writing checks for all our bills. If I were to get your checkbook register, it would be an autobiography of what's important to you. You may be saying, well, why does that matter? Well, here's the deal. You will do. Actions are more louder than words. Your actions will go with what's important to you. So if I were to see your bank statement, if you were to print off a bank statement and let me look at it, I'm going to tell pretty quickly what's important to you. And if you're not taking time out to do a budget, what you're saying with your time very loudly is doing a budget is not important enough to do. Well, Justin, I know a budget is important and I know I got to do one. That's great. All the words in the world doesn't put a budget on paper. You've got to take the time to put the income and the expenses on the budget, make it balance equals zero, and then live that. If you're not willing to invest that time, you're not going to get ahead, because I will tell you this. I have met a lot of people in my life. Some very wealthy, some just average, some broke. Here's what I can tell you based on my research. 100% of the people that are broke don't do a budget. 100% of the people who are doing awesome with money, they do a budget. Even if they don't do it word for word, bullet by bullet, the way I would do it, they're at least doing a budget. And when we're saying budgeting, we're not saying, let's look back at our statements, let's look at Quicken and see what it says, or QuickBooks. No, we're looking ahead. We're looking at the next month, and every month we're doing a brand new budget. And we're putting how much income this month. So July's here, so you should have a July budget. But if you don't, do it today. Put all the income for July, all the expenses for July, and add them up, subtract. If you've got money left over, great. Don't overspend. Now put it towards a goal. Maybe you need some money in savings. Maybe you need money to get out of debt. Maybe you want to go on a vacation, or you got back to school shopping coming up next month. Whatever the case may be, but if you got extra money, say, what am I going to do with that money? The flip side is true if you're short. If you're short, don't be like Congress and just think we can just make money happen. No, you've got to go back and reduce some things. That's how you learn what a need versus a want is. But again, we can say how important budgeting is all day long. If you're not doing it, it doesn't matter. And I know some of you might be thinking, when I was bringing up the checkbook autobiography, if I look at your checkbook or your online statement, I can tell you what's important to you. I've had people say, well, that's not true. In fact, I had someone who's on baby step 6, so they have all the debt paid off but the house. They're investing for retirement. They got a big pile of money in savings for emergencies. And they said, Justin, if you were to look at our checkbook, you would see a lot of money going to Walmart. That's okay. And they said, well, we like to help people who are in need of clothes or food, and this is the necessities of life, and we pay for that. You're not going to know that by Walmart. And I said, well, that might be true. I said, but I guarantee you, as we just had this conversation, I know right now giving is important. Helping to those in need are important. Same with your time. What you do every day, there's not a Quicken or whatever, but if you did a time log of your day every day, I'm not saying you should, but if you did for 30 days, and you every minute of your life, you documented what you did as look like a checkbook register or an online bank statement, I guarantee you in 30 days worth of logging that, I could look at it and tell you what's important to you right now today and what's not. Now, it may not be what you want. I mean, if you got a lot of money going to a Visa card, you know what that tells me? You're serious about getting out of debt, more than likely, because you're wanting that Visa card going bye-bye. But if I see a lot of debit card swiping or credit card swiping, if I see that to your favorite restaurant every other week, and you're going to all these places and buying a bunch of stuff on eBay, and that just tells me you love to spend. And again, it's your money. I'm not going to say it's right, wrong, good, or bad. Yes, there are best practices, the thing I recommend. So again, to the question, what do you do when you don't have time to do a budget? You make time. And just like the budget where income minus expenses equals zero, you have 24 hours in a day. That's it. And if you add up all the 24 hours, which you can look at as your income, minus 24 hours of expenses or how you spend your time is zero. And if all of your time's used up, that means something else you're going to have to say no to. And here's the thing about budgeting. It shouldn't be a daily exercise. Budgeting is done once a month once you get used to it, pending any what we call budget committee meeting, emergency meetings, once a month. My wife and I now, it takes maybe 15 minutes, 20 tops, I put together the budget. My wife and I sit down when the kids are asleep and the phones are off. And I go, honey, here's the budget. And by the way, I emailed it to her so she can see it prior to our conversation. She looks at the budget and she goes, hey, we need money for clothes this month. We don't have enough in the clothing envelope. Okay, we need to raise it. How much, honey? $30. Okay, if we raise it by $30, what are we going to reduce? My golfing fees. No, I don't want to give up golfing. Well, what else can we give up? And maybe I do give up golfing, but whatever. We talk about it. It balances. So if you don't have time, is it going to take some time up front? Sure. It might take an hour or two the first time you actually sit down and do a budget. And it won't be perfect, and you're going to have to make a lot of changes that first month. But if you do a budget, as I teach you, every month for 90 days, you will see a dramatic shift. It won't take an hour or two anymore. It will take 15 to 20 minutes a month. So simply put, if you don't have time to do a budget, make time. Because if you don't, you will have to make time later when the bill collector is calling you, or you're getting garnished, or you're looking at applying for bankruptcy, or you're going to do other things. When you finally wave the white flag of surrender and go, I can't do this anymore, you will then make time. So if you're going to make time somewhere in your life, wouldn't you rather do it now when you can control the outcome versus later when someone else is going to control the outcome? Something to think about. Amy in Des Moines writes, what is the difference between Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University and your 90-day financial coaching services that you offer? That is a great question, Amy. I get that question all the time. What is the difference between Financial Peace University by Dave Ramsey and Justin Bennett at Strong Tower Consulting's 90-day financial coaching program? Well, first, let me tell you where it's similar. You're going to learn the exact same principles whether you go through the class or go through coaching. And I want to recommend right out of the chute, you do both. And I'll explain why in a minute. When you go through Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace class, it's a 9-week class going over all the basics of personal finance. And Dave is teaching you, sharing all the tricks of the trade he knows and all the wisdom he knows in an hour DVD, followed by a 30-minute discussion with your group. You do that for 9 weeks, once a week. And it's awesome. I mean, I recommend it. It's one of the best classes out there on personal finance. Where coaching is different is it's not a classroom environment. It's one-on-one. Both the class and the one-on-one coaching, yes, they provide accountability. The accountability looks different, though. The accountability is you're probably not going to share with people how much debt you have, and you're not going to go through the details with your budget. You meet with a coach, I'm going to walk you through step-by-step accountability, help you create a game plan. Bob Conroy said it exactly right in a past segment. I have led, I think, 13 FPU classes over the last 3 or 4 years. And it's true. 20% of those folks, they get it the first time around. Because here's what's happened. Dave is very entertaining and he's very good at teaching. We all laugh at his jokes. It makes perfect sense in class. Everyone's doing this motion and throughout the class. We get home, we try to apply it, and fog. We can't see. Because life is back in front of us, and we go, what did Dave say? I don't know. And if you're married, you're fighting about what Dave said. And at the end of the class, you go, okay, I learned these concepts, and I made some change, but I'm not where I want to be. And again, I'm not saying it to poo-poo Dave's class, because it's a great class. I wouldn't have spent 13 classes teaching it if I didn't think it was a good class. And that's why I really believe they offer a lifetime membership. I know of a couple who the first time they went through it, all it did was save them from a divorce and gave them common language. They really didn't change much financially. It just got them at least to be on the same page on the conversation. The second time they took Financial Peace University, changed their life. That's how they became debt-free. The third time they took FPU, they invited their son so he could begin to learn the basics also about money. But I can't tell you the number of people I've worked with that went through FPU and coaching at the same time. It's not 1 + 1 = 2. It's like 1 + 1 = 8. Because it's so funny because we teach the same principles. And if they're going through my coaching first, budgeting is the third lesson in FPU. What's real fun is usually by the budget lesson, people are a little nervous. Okay, I'm going to have to do this budget and learn it. Well, the folks that have been through my coaching, as they're going through FPU, it's no sweat. They're like, budgeting's it's fine. It's easy because they've already been through it. And so you get kind of the double whammy of a great teacher and someone who's been doing it longer than me, but you also get one-on-one coaching for the direct accountability. And as you always hear me talk about, I don't sell any financial products. I don't sell insurance. I don't sell investments. That's huge Because according to a recent study, 8 out of 10 adults want someone like me to give them advice. But the problem is they're freaked out because if I go to the banker, they're going to say you need a debt consolidation loan. If I talk to my insurance agent, they're going to say you need to change your insurance. If I go to a financial planner, they're going to say this. If I go to this, they're going to say why. I don't do that. So if you want to be like the Adams family we had her on earlier today, and you want to change your life financially, I offer a free 30-minute consultation. Costs you nothing, just 30 minutes of your time, and it can change your life. The average people going through my coaching process pays off $4,000 to $6,000 in debt and gets that $1,000 very first starter emergency fund. How cool would it be to have $1,000 in the bank? It'd be awesome because 64% of you don't have one. Thanks for the time of the day. Again, I want to thank Ryan Norfield was our producer, and Mac McCoy and Webcast One Studios for letting me be on here and do this show. This is the Strong Tower Financial Hour, where we help people from being broke and scared, and we give them hope with a plan. See you next time.
This broadcast is designed to provide accurate and authoritative information with regards to the subject matter covered. It is sold with the understanding that neither the radio host nor the station are engaged in rendering legal, accounting, or other professional advice. If legal advice or other expert professional assistance is required, the services of a competent professional should be sought.